Hello and welcome to From the Mic Stand. We are here live on Artecos and we just had the brilliant Later in the studio. Hello guys.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you been?
Well, we're calm down now.
Fine and dandy.
Dan and Fandy.
In fact, that's before you've had a drink.
And yeah, that must be one of your... have you been playing much recently?
Not an awful lot. Dennis and I have been doing some little broadcasts just to keep us ticking over. We've done 200 different songs now.
Right.
Dennis writes quite a lot of his own, so it's been a good place to be in terms of putting out some of his original stuff, as well as some exciting covers. We've done, you won't believe some of the stuff we've done.
Took a few chances. Got to know the drum machine rather well, since we couldn't have a full band, of course, with the COVID and everything. So I guess like everybody else last year, we just gigs just that was it.
And we had to rehearse with Dave here in the garage before we came this evening.
The nearest I get to grunge music.
Yes,
Garage music.
because he wasn't allowed inside at the time. So.
No,
So-
I mean, you just had to keep your head down as you went under the up and over door, and then the music took over.
Right. So for those people who haven't heard of Later before, do you want to tell us a bit about yourselves?
Well, we're called Later because it's later.
Because we got together later in life. I suppose that's where it comes from. Because we all started off way back in the early 70s in a folk club in Macclesfield called at the Nag's Head, which is the Nag's Head still exists, but doesn't play folk music anymore. And I had a spell, 20 years of not doing anything. And then Sue and Dennis have been in various guises, various bands for many, many years now, and they invited me back just to add a little bit of Bollington.
We wanted the harmony. We needed a three-part.
So were there any bands or influences that brought you guys together, or what was it?
Over to you, boss.
Yeah, well, I think the idea was to have three vocals. Then we could have a lot more flexibility. So that was where it came from. So the kind of acoustic-y harmonies that you would think about, Crosby, Stills and Nash, the Eagles, anything like that. And then we also decided to do some old rock and roll songs because we could have backing vocals, because suddenly we had three voices.
Do up.
And all that stuff. But it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's maybe not a great musical statement, but it's a lot of fun. So that kind of stuff, really, and just to try and do something different that other people aren't doing. So sometimes we sway into a bit of country.
Right.
Sometimes it's contemporary acoustic stuff, whether it's covers or originals. And really just a mixture of whatever takes our fancy, with the emphasis on harmony.
Sure. And some of those tracks you wrote tonight, they're all yours. How do you go about writing tracks?
Oh gosh, a lot of different ways actually. They tend to come in bursts. To sometimes sit there and I haven't written anything for 4 months and I write 3 songs in a week. And different things trigger it off, sometimes personal experience. Sometimes you just kind of hear a line like one of the songs you'd hear from a TV series, you'd hear a line and it just kind of resonates with something, and you dig into your own experience. Or sometimes you just want to write a story.
Sure.
You get an idea for a story and progress it in that way. So that's how I do it. I mean, how other people do it, I don't know. I think it's just a bit of a mystery. Yeah,
one of the tracks I really liked was Park Avenue, or what was it called?
2 Rooms on Park Avenue.
Yeah, can you tell us a bit about that one?
Yeah, sure. I think I said something when we were doing the broadcast that people sometimes ask me what that was about, but it was actually based on my parents. And they lived, before they had their own house, they lived in rented accommodation in Park Avenue.
Sure.
And I was only very, very small, so whether we actually had 2 rooms or not, I don't know, but it didn't sound like we had very much. And it's really in a sort of 4 verses as quick as you can, their life story rather than my own.
Right. And what are some of the venues that you've been performing at?
Oh, we've been quite a few places. Well, we were doing quite a few places.
Yeah, well,
Under this bit of a hiatus for
I think everybody has
18 months.
Yes.
As far as Macclesfield goes, I mean, we played in the Wharf a lot, we played Wet Lead, in
Snow Goose.
Navigation, Snow Goose. Out of town, we've played in Northwich,
Sure.
Knutsford, Wilmslow.
Yes, quite a few places.
Yeah, different places, mainly around the northwest, really.
And how would you say that the music scene's changed in Macclesfield over the years? Because I'm sure you must have played for years with the folk club and everything.
Well, obviously there was a much bigger folk scene
Yeah.
when we started in the mid-70s, 1974, wasn't it, when the group started in the Nag's Head. So it just, I suppose. But we weren't we went nah, 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 nah.
we weren't
We did
very
a lot of
folk.
harmony stuff, but we weren't Aaron Sweater's finger in the ear type. And we used to get a lot of different guests,
Yeah.
didn't we? From all kind of places, you know, from Les Barker the poet to an
Yeah.
Australian band that brought us boomerangs and
Yeah.
Do we have somebody from, like a piano player from New Orleans or something?
absolutely. We just had such a wide
Yeah.
range of people. Mostly didn't go on to be hugely famous, but one or
No.
two like Christine Collister and
Yeah,
people like that. Yeah, we had
They've
one
all
or
had
two
the
that
day in the
dabbled
sun.
dabbled
Yeah.
with fame in the various festival, but more on the festival scene than say the pop scene or the the rock
Yeah.
scene. So yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There wasn't a great demand for songs like the Hand Loom Weaver's Lament. And
we weren't
so
traditional.
we moved along a little bit.
Right.
So we tried to lighten the...
We did do a bit of Maddie Pryor, didn't we?
We did a bit of Maddie Pryor. We did Steel Ice Band.
Steel
yeah.
Ice Band. We did a
At the
little
time,
bit of
yeah.
that
Sure.
sort of thing, and we did actually produce an album many
Yeah.
moons ago that is quite valuable in certain markets these days.
But we're more proud of the stuff we're doing now,
Yeah.
of
Yes.
course,
Sure.
than then.
So with the newer stuff, is there a plan to create an album or an EP and release it? Or
Do you know, we could probably do it. It's
Yeah.
just been a question of sort of getting round to it more than anything, because this
Right.
last year's been just so crazy for everybody.
yeah, definitely.
I mean, up until recently, we obviously couldn't rehearse or indeed record
Yeah.
indoors, because although we live in the same house, Dave doesn't.
Yeah.
So that's never been the plan, so to speak. But there's no reason why not.
Mm.
No reason why not at all.
Well, we might think about it, mightn't
Yeah, we might do.
We'll see if there's any demand after this programme.
we? Well,
You'll be
you never
well
know.
sick
I'm
with
sure
that.
I'm sure Mike will do his very best to.
Oh, yeah, it would be.
And do you have a live gigs coming up that people can catch you on? And
The only thing we've got at the moment, which is actually not later, it's actually our four-piece band, is the Church House in Sutton, which is on the 6th of June, which is a Sunday
yeah,
in the afternoon. As far as later gigs go, all I can say at the moment is we're looking forward to arranging some.
yeah,
I think what's happening at the moment is venues are just opened. They've got no money.
mm,
They're just kind of like being very cautious. I suspect it'll be about July,
sure.
and I would expect the first one to probably be Wet Lead.
Mm.
But we can't give you a date because we don't have it yet.
No, and we think probably a lot of venues will stick to maybe solo artists,
Yeah,
simply
sure.
because obviously 3 people, it's more people in the room. Some of the rooms are very small when we play. But no, we'll just have to wait and see, won't we? But I'm sure we will. We had a nice selection of gigs last year. That,
Yeah, I can imagine.
oh God,
It's happened to everyone, hasn't it?
It has.
Like, as a musician, how is that feeling to just kind of lose all your gigs? It must be
a
quite
bit of a shame.
difficult.
Yeah.
Frustrating.
Mm.
You feel quite sad, really, don't you?
You do,
You feel
yeah.
quite sad, and then it's very scary doing stuff on your own from home because
Yeah.
you've got no audience and there's nobody clapping and there's
Yeah.
nobody going boo, here's get off either. So you've got nothing.
So you did 200 songs. I guess it took quite a while to get used to performing to cameras, but you must be naturals now.
We had
I don't know about naturals, but it is different. Yeah, yeah.
and it's almost a bit scary coming out like we've come here today. It's almost a bit scary coming
Yeah,
out,
Sure, yeah.
and you've got people watching you, and if you get it wrong, oh dear.
Yeah, Sue's
Things
right.
like that.
At first, when we did them, it's quite different because if you're performing in front of an audience, even if they don't like you or you're not going down very well, there's some sort of atmosphere.
Mm.
Hopefully, people will like you, but whatever, there's some sort of feedback. But when you're playing to social media or whatever, you finish the song and you're in a library, you know. there's nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I've done a few online things. It's very strange.
It'll be nice
It's
actually
strange.
to get back in the water.
Mm. So, if people want to find your music, are you on social media? I guess where they can find
We
it.
have a Facebook page under Later, yeah. We're on Reverb Nation,
Sure.
and there are some tracks on YouTube.
Mm.
And the broadcasts are all on. Are they under your name?
They're under my name, yeah.
Look up Dennis Quinn.
One or two are under Later, but if you look at me, which is Dennis Quinn, and if you're familiar with Facebook, you just search around and find videos. there are 28 to choose from. So you can while away a lot of time with that, or not, as the case may be.
And Dave's in some of them when we were allowed last year in between the when it was between lockdowns. You joined us
and then
for
I
a
was
couple,
barred again.
and then you were barred again. Not by us.
No, absolutely
No,
not.
It
No.
was
think
purely
I
political.
think we managed three broadcasts with Dave.
Did we? Did we manage to?
Yeah.
No, we've been the sort of upper end of the age group. We've all been vaccinated now, so
We've all had both of them.
Oh yes, we've all got big S's on our chest now. Invulnerable.
I'm fully charged.
I said I was plague resistant because of my vaccine.
Yeah, that's bound to work.
Well, it's been lovely to have you on the show. It's our first guest back in the studio. We did one in the park with Aaron, which you can see on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. But yeah, it's been great to have you on from the
Well,
Macclesfield.
thank you very much for
Thank
asking
you.
us. It's
Thank you
been a
very much for
really
having us.
pleasurable experience.
Cheers.
Yes.
We've enjoyed it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And thank you to Richard over there
Absolutely.
for pressing all the knobs and dials. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you,
Thanks.
Mike.
Cheers.